So let's see how our back is doing and do a little balance today and use our ball. And we're going to roll down and bring our knees to our chest and take a few breaths as you make those circles side to side and then in the opposite direction. Just kind of wake it up in there. Let's see if we can straighten our legs up and take a couple of breaths. Even if the legs are bent, just feel how the hips are pressing down. And one more breath. And let's take our feet down, arms over our head, and take a few breaths here and stretch, rolling the shoulders down. And then let's bring the arms down as the legs come up and do a few of these. Wake up our hamstrings, and let's do 5 more of these. Breathing deeply and take your time. And then we're going to do one more and keep the legs up, bring the arms down and take a few breaths. Just notice the difference in the back of the legs. And then we're going to put our feet back down and let's roll the hips up, stretching the back. And we're going to roll the hips down and do a few more of these. So one vertebrae at a time to really lengthen the spine. And let's do one more and hold the hips up. See if you can walk the shoulder blades together and take a few more breaths and lengthen the arms. And then we're rolling back down, taking the knees over to the right. Easy stretch, looking to the left and breathing. And last deep breath. Let's roll the legs over to the left. And when you're ready, turn your head slowly to the right and breathe. Last deep breath. And we're coming back to the center and we're going to grab our ball. So we're going to put it underneath the hips and add a little balance to the moves. So first we're going to bring the knees in toward the chest, arms are down, and take one leg straight out and then the other. And palms are facing up. And see if you can lengthen your arms as they're starting to rise up off the floor. So we're going to take them up, straight up. A couple more times. And then bring them all the way out to the side. We're still doing the leg part. And then taking the arms back up and out. So it's kind of like walking and chewing gum. Let's do a few more. And then we're going to put our hands behind our head. And let's do bicycles, elbow to knee with that twist. And a couple more. And then we're going to put our head down, bring the legs into happy baby, and feel how gravity is opening the hips and the groin. Let's start to widen the legs into a straddle. So our hands are on the shins or wherever you can touch, and point and flex the feet. Now we're going to slowly straighten the legs back up toward the ceiling. Our hands are still on the shins, so we're balancing. And let's bend the legs 90 degrees. Arms come down and tap each foot down with the toes. And then flex the feet, tap the heels down. And then last one. Now let's cross the right foot over the left thigh. We're going to just stretch that hip. So bringing the leg up, thigh closer to the chest, and let gravity open up the piriformis and the glutes. And then release that side and uncross and go to the other side. Left foot over there to the right thigh, knee up, thigh up toward the chest, and breathe. And then we're going to lower back down and uncross. Lift the hips, roll them up again. 3 breaths. Take the ball away, and as you roll down, let's put the ball between the knees or the thighs, whatever's comfortable. Bring the knees up. We're going to go over to the right and do this side stretch, almost touch, look to the left. Take a couple of breaths as the legs are hovering. And then we're going to the other side. So working the waistline. And let's look to the right. We're hovering the knees up. And then we're coming back to the center, and we're going to straighten the legs up. Arms come down. Let's lift and lower the hips 10 times. Five more. And then we're going to lower the feet back down to the mat, roll the hips up, and breathe. Now we've got the stability in the hips. Let's take a few more breaths. And then we're going to roll down and roll all the way up to a seated position in Dandasana, and the ball is still between the legs. So we're going to inhale the arms up, twist to the right. Just bring the arms down and see if you can hinge forward. And our left hand is on the right foot if you can, or wherever it is. And breathe. And then we're coming back up, arms come up over our head. Take a deep breath. We're going to twist to the left, do the same thing here, lengthen toward the outside of the left foot. And a couple more deep breaths. And then back to the center. So now we're going to take that ball away and let's sit crisscross applesauce on the ball. And just see how that feels. We're going to roll the shoulders up, back, and down and twist to the right. And then over to the left. And let's forward fold, hinging from the hips, stretching them out. Now walking our arms to the right. Over to the left. Back to the center, we're going to come on up and stretch out the side. So right hand down, left arm over. And let's go to the other side. And then back to the center. Now we're going to put our feet down and lengthen, hinging forward and breathing. And do these cat-cow movements with the spine. And one more breath. So we're going to balance on the ball. So now we're sitting on the ball. We're going to press our left foot down and we're going to see if we can raise the right leg up. You can hold the right leg. See if you could get your hands off the floor. Maybe you could hold the big toe and then put your left hand down and we're going to twist to the left. Really good, and release, and let's try the other one. So we're going to lift the left leg up. See if you could do it with hands off the floor. And then put your right hand down. We're going to hold the left big toe and twist to the right. And then release. So now we're going to bring the right leg in, cross our left knee over the right knee for Gomukhasana, and see about the hips. Let's start by lengthening, twisting to the left and breathing. And then twist to the right. And we're coming back to the center. We're going to reach the right arm up over our head, bend it, and hold it with the left hand, or just put it on your back. You can hinge forward or just sit for 3 more breaths. And then let's release. The arms, roll the shoulders, and we're going to uncross our legs and go to the other side. So we're going to take the left leg in, cross the right knee over the left knee, twist to the left, open the chest, and then let's twist and lengthen to the right. And now we're going to come to the center and reach the left arm up over our head, bend, and take the right hand to touch the left hand, or hold your hands, whatever you can do. Just stretching out that rotator cuff. And if you'd like, we're hinging forward, and we're going to take 3 more breaths. And then release the arms, roll the shoulders, and we're going to come off of the ball. And let's come to hands and knees and do regular cat-cows. And just one more. So a neutral spine, take the right leg behind you and curl the toes under. Extend through the back of the leg. And then we're going to switch legs, left leg back there, curl the toes under, press through the leg, the heel. And now we're going to release and sit back into child's pose. See if you can walk your fingers away from you. And then we're going to try our iguanas, reaching the chest forward and looking up, and come back to child's pose. And let's do 3 more. And we're back in our child's pose. Take another couple of breaths. And let's come into downward dog. And we're going to lift our right leg up. And let's step it forward into a lunge and just take a breath right here. And then lift the right leg up again behind us, 3-legged dog. And put the right foot down and let's switch. Left leg up, step the leg forward, take a deep breath. And then back to 3-legged dog. And left foot down. Now we're going to come into plank and back to dog. Let's do a couple more. And last one, we're going to stay in a plank and then come back to child's pose. So getting a little bit longer with the spine, walk the arms to the right and then over to the left. Back to the center. Let's try our puppy pose. And then sphinx on our belly. And see if you can lengthen the belly. So we're breathing in, looking up toward the ceiling. And then we're going to release that and come all the way down on our belly, arms over our head. So we're going to reach our arms out in a T position. Lift the right leg up and let's come to the left a little bit. Stretch in that twist and also the shoulder. 2 more breaths. And then let's bring our right leg down and switch. And we're lifting our left leg up, bringing it over into that twist. Turning the head so the right ear's on the mat. And lengthening. And then we're going to bring that leg back to the mat. And let's walk our hands underneath our thighs. And now we're going to lift everything up and lower down using the breath. And let's do one more. We're holding ourselves up. And now kick your legs. Here we go. 10, 9, really fast. 8, 7, lift a little higher. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. We're going to press back to child's pose. And take 3 breaths. Now inch those fingers forward, back to down dog. Let's walk to the top of our mat. We're going to come halfway up, forward fold, and let's come all the way up, arms out and up, and a little back bend. Hands to our heart. We're going to twist the upper body to the right and then to the left, back to the center. Let's take our elbows to the thighs, come a little bit deeper into the hip, and then a forward fold, chest to thigh. Right leg steps back to a lunge. Reach the left arm up, spinal twist. Back to down dog. And then lift the right leg up. We're stepping it forward. And the left, halfway up. And forward fold. And let's come all the way up. A little back bend again. Hands to our heart. Twist the upper body to the left. And then to the right. And the center. Elbows on our thighs. Forward fold, chest to thigh. Left leg steps back to that lunge. And then we're going to reach the right arm out and up, spinal twist. Let's come back, downward dog. Left leg lifts up and steps forward. And the right, halfway up, forward fold, and inhale all the way up, reaching the arms up, hands to our heart. Let's lift our right knee up, and we're going to take that knee open and close 5 times, out and in. One more. Now we're going to take the leg back, warrior three. Into a forward fold, leg up, behind you. Let's step the right leg back to that lunge. And lift the left arm up, spinal twist. And then back to down dog. Let's take 3 slow breaths here. We're going to lift our right leg up, now step it forward. And the left, and halfway up. Forward fold, and let's come all the way up. Hands to our heart, and take a deep breath here. So now we're going to lift the left knee up, and here we go, out and in with the leg, open and close. 3 more. And then slowly, warrior three, left leg back. Into our forward fold. Leg up behind us. Step the leg back, so we're in another lunge. And we're going to reach the right arm up in a twist. Back to down dog. And let's take 3 breaths here to lengthen. And left leg lifts up, steps forward. And the right steps forward halfway up. Forward fold. And let's come all the way up, really using our legs. Hands to heart. We're going to lift the right knee up, and let's hold the right foot, come into dancer. We're going to try our warrior three again. Right leg back. And then warrior one, step the leg back, arms up. And let's take a few breaths here. We're going to reach the arms forward, right hand down, left arm up, spinal twist. And then both arms up with our palms together, another back bend. And clasp our hands behind us for humble warrior. And feel the chest opening, forward fold, 3 breaths. And then up into our back bend. Reach the arms up, back to warrior one, and take that deep breath, and then stepping the right leg forward, and let's take a couple of breaths in Tadasana. So now we're going to lift the left knee up so we can come into dancer, holding the left foot. Right arm up. And then into our warrior three, left leg back. And then when you're ready, warrior one. And let's take a few breaths. We're going to reach the arms forward, left fingers down, right arm up, spinal twist. And then both arms up, palms together, opening the chest. And then clasping our hands, let's come into humble warrior. And forward fold, chest to thigh, 3 breaths. And then into our back bend. And reaching the arms out and up, warrior one. And then stepping forward and into Tadasana. So now we're going to come into Utkatasana. And then forward fold. Let's hold our elbows. And then hands down on the mat. We're going to step back, downward dog. And we're going to come into our up dog and take a couple of breaths here. Into child's pose and breathe. We're going to bring our arms behind us. And sit up on our heels and twist to the right. And then twist to the left. And let's try our back to the center, lifting our hips up now. Another back bend. And we'll take a few breaths, lifting the chest, opening the quads. And then we're going to sit back on our heels and come to hands and knees. And into thread the needle. Right arm out to the right, thread it underneath the left, and breathe. And 2 more breaths. Let's come back to the center and take a breath. And then left arm out to the left, thread it underneath the right. And 2 more breaths. And let's come back to hands and knees. And then we're going to do our bird dog. So right leg behind us, lifting it up, left arm out. Feel the evenness in the hips. Now we're bending the right leg behind us, holding it with the left hand. And then release, hand and knee down. And we're going to switch for bird dog. Left leg, right arm. Such a good balance pose. Bending the left leg, holding the foot with your right hand. And then release. Let's put our knees down and we're going to reach the arms up over our head into a little back bend. Really good. And we're going to sit back into child's pose. And then downward dog. And right leg lifts up, warrior two. And let's take a few breaths. And reverse. And then we're going to take our forearm down to the thigh, side angle pose, and reach with the left arm. Let's come back to reverse. And then we're going to put our hands behind our head, take our right elbow down to the thigh, left arm up, and warrior two. Let's straighten our right leg, Trikonasana. Let's come into our half moon. And a couple more breaths. And we'll come back to Trikonasana. And let's come all the way back up. And we're going to reach the arms up over our head, clasp our hands, lean to the right, and lengthen. And then lean to the left. And then in the center, let's release the hands. We're going to come all the way down, forward fold, and go side to side with the legs, transverse lunges. And let's come all the way back up, reaching up again. And then warrior two, left foot out. And then reverse. And then we're going to bring the forearm down to the left thigh, right arm over. And lengthen and breathe. And let's come back up and into reverse again. Right arm down, left arm up. And then remember the other side. So we're going to put our hands behind our head, left elbow to the left thigh, roll the chest open. And let's come back up to our warrior two. And then Trikonasana. And then let's try our half moon. And we're gonna lift our right leg up. Back to Trikonasana, taking a few breaths. Let's come all the way up, reaching the arms up, and reach the arms straight up, a little back bend. And then we're going to come into goddess pose, turning our feet out. We're going to take our right elbow toward the right thigh. And then the other side over to the left. And let's try it again. Over to the right. And over to the left. And back to the center. We're going to clasp our hands behind us. We're still in the goddess legs. And then start to forward fold, lengthening the legs in a forward fold. And take 3 breaths. We're going to release the arms down to the mat. Turn this into a right side lunge. And then we're going to come into a dragon, bring the left knee down, and take a few breaths. Now we're going to straighten the right leg, leaving the right foot on the mat for a deeper forward fold. Really good. So let's bend that leg again, lift the left leg up, and we're going to walk ourselves over to the other side, to a left side lunge. And when you're ready, into that dragon pose, and bring the right knee down to the mat, and breathe. Let's straighten our left leg. Keep the foot down, stretch out the foot and the back of the leg. And a couple more breaths. And then we're going to come back to the regular lunge, lifting the right leg up. Let's walk to the center again. We're going to hold our ankles, 3 breaths in our forward fold. And then let's come all the way up, reaching the arms up, overhead. And we're going to come into our downward dog. And take 3 breaths here. Let's come into dolphin pose. We're going to lower the forearms, clasp the hands, see if you can walk forward a little bit more. And then a half arm plank. And into a sphinx, and breathe. And let's release and do our 5 cobras here. one more. And we're going to press ourselves back to our child's pose. And then downward dog. Let's walk forward up to the top of the mat. Let's try our halfway up position. Really feel this lengthening. And then a forward fold, chest to thigh. And inhale all the way up, reaching the arms up. And then Tadasana. Feel the difference in your body. So we're going to come into our eagle pose and cross the right knee over the left knee, left arm over the right, and forward, hinging forward. And 2 more breaths. And let's come all the way up. And we're going to take a breath in Tadasana. And let's cross our left knee over the right, right elbow over the left, and forward fold. And 2 more breaths. And we're coming up and uncrossing the legs, and let's make our way into our squat. And release the hips and the back completely. And 1 more breath. And let's come on down. Let's roll down on our back, knees to our chest. And when you're ready, happy baby. And just close your eyes and breathe. And Baddha Konasana, feet together. And then let's put our feet down on the mat, and we're going to come into a spinal twist. Easy does it, and breathe. Now we're going to twist to the other side. And then back to the center with those legs, and let's roll the hips up. Setu Bandha. And I hope that the ball is close by because we're going to put it underneath us. So our back is on the ball, and let's lift our legs up, Viparita Karani, and breathe for our final pose. And we're going to drain the legs. allow your body to go in whatever position it wants to go in as your body continues to open. We're breathing into the belly, the ribs, and the upper chest. Feel the space around your body as you wish yourselves good health and harmony. Peace to all your cells and molecules, and peace to our homes and our families, as well as our brothers and sisters everywhere. Now we're going to put our feet back on the mat. Take a deep breath, and let's lift up off of the ball and take the ball away. And then let's roll to the side. And we're going to come on up to a seated position. Bring our hands to our heart to seal in our practice and feel the lengthening of your spine. Let's take a deep inhale and sigh. One more time. Namaste. Thank you, everybody, for coming today.
Thank you.
Friday. And happy Pumpkin Fest if you're going to the pumpkin.
Are you going to in Highland Park tomorrow at the library?
Yes, it's through the Resiliency, Highland Park Resiliency Program. Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock? I forgot.
It's at 2 o'clock, there's a waiting list. Just thought I'd tell you.
Yeah,
So, which is good, I'm just telling people to come
I'm
because.
glad, because I was worried they didn't advertise it enough, so that's good.
Oh no, there've been so many people at the library programs, like 62 people in places, so really it's going. People need the mental health. Bye everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.